So last night I was a little bit concerned that I couldn't get the bonnet closed. And I thought about it. I had a bottle of wine and I thought about it. And I went online and I looked at some power bulges. And I looked at this Puma fiberglass bonnet, which is a little bit cheaper. But I don't think it's going to do my needs, because I need... Well, there, I'll put a little black mark in there, and that's the place where it has to be lower. Higher, whichever way it is, anyway, I can't remember. So anyway, I looked at some other companies who are making power bulges and things like this, and I saw one on internet, and I know what they did. They actually took a moulding of this, see this area here, all the way around here, and flipped it upside down so it comes up, and put a little mesh grill across the front. But it was too short. It was not going to suit my needs. It's going to be too short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a full one, and I'm going to just invert that flip. Now I could, if I was clever and had two bonnets, cut this, flip it, and reinforce it underneath, but also at the same time TIG weld it. That's a lot of work. So fiberglass. And then once I've got that on, I can make a whole fiberglass bonnet if I wish. So the next thing is the radiator. So this is the Disco 2 radiator, and this is junk. This has got a leak here. It's no good, so we're going to get rid of that. But I'm going to use it as a mock-up, and I need to keep these oil coolers. So I was playing around with it very early this morning, just as I got up, and I thought, how am I going to get that in? Because I thought it was going to hit here, right on top of this steering bracket. But if I take out these brackets here, which were the original radiator brackets, and place it here, just where that hole is there, I think I can get that in. Because if I can get that in, I can use all the hoses off the Disco 2. I don't have to make anything. So I'm going to do that now while it's quiet, because I'm waiting for a radiator for a Volvo to turn up. And let's see how we can do it, because now it's starting to look, well, it looks like it's going to come together. Happy days. So after a bit of a messing about and trying to align things up with the help of a plasma cutter, it's going to fit. The radiator will fit. These are the original brackets from the 2.5, so we know that there's a clearance between here and here. That's good. So if we put that roughly where it's going to be, you can see that the radiator's well underneath. So I had to do a little bit of a messing around in this corner. I have to dress up all these welds and things like this. I just need to move it back a hair, because it's just to say touching here, which is a problem, but not a big deal. On that side it just to say misses. So I'm going to inch it forward if I can, just to get into there. What I do is I make a big hole and then I weld a big washer on it so it comes back this way. So that's going to work. It's going to be tight, because when you look down here to here, this is the inner wing. So we've got to get these pipes in, and this one's already got a bend in it. So I'm thinking about doing the same, just taking this in just a hair, and I think it'll work. Same with this side. And then you see, wait a minute, we'll go to this side, you can probably see it there. There's a captive nut in here. So what we can do is put a bracket going from there to there. So I'm about worked up at the front of the car. Now it comes to putting the fuel tank in. Well, here's another problem. There's a rusty old shield on the floor. I'm going to make one out of stainless. Now this tank is the same. This is out of a TD5 Discovery. The reason why I'm using this one, not the gas one or the petrol one right at the moment, is because this one's empty and it's light. But it's the same dimensions. However, it's always however, isn't it? It isn't going to fit very easy. I have to lose this cross member. or part of it, or in fact all of it. It's already got a great big massive one in there, and this was only to hold the gas tank in anyway. It doesn't do anything. There's a big cross member here. So what I intend to do is move this ever so slightly, cut this out, either move it forwards, or failing that, I'm going to put a piece of square tubing in, which will do the job just as well. So anyway, that's another part of the problems. These are the things you have to take on. But anyway, it's all right. I'm not too concerned. So we've been cutting the gas tank mountings out. We've cut these pieces off here. They were the old mountings for the body, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to make a steel frame for the back. The bit that goes across the top, which is the old steel tank, that's gone. This all needs dressing up, by the way. I've just actually cut it off, and it looks a bit slaggy because it is slaggy, because I use the plasma to gouge off the weld, so most of that slag, it'll just all come off. The tank does fit, and there's plenty of clearance for the axle, so now I've got a piece of steel tubing there that I'm going to put in, drill and tap some holes, well not tap them, but put some captive nuts in, and the same at the back, and that'll hold the tank in. That's sorted. My, this is getting easier than I thought. So the tank I'm using at the moment is here. It's upside down because I threw it off there. Is a TD5 tank. Now it's a TD5 Discovery, so the bend is slightly different, but got a good capacity. So, and being a V8, I think I'll need it. So anyway, it's still going to be strong, even though I've cut those bits out, because by putting that piece back in, it's going to keep that frame from flexing around a little bit, because what will happen is, perhaps with a load, this will move, so you need to keep those two braced together, and that's why they perhaps killed two birds with one stone and did it on the tank. So the next video should be me finishing off this, grinding it up and tack welding things in place. One thing I must remember, a lot of these videos are videos to myself, so I can remember things. The TD5 tank was tapped inside here. This is where the hitch goes on. Now this one isn't. So what I'm going to have to do is put the original hitch on, just tack weld it in, but tack weld the nuts on so that I can put the spreader plate and pull everything together when I put the hitch on, because otherwise I won't be able to get in, which is a nightmare. And that's the same thing, the problem they had with the TD5. So from the outside it won't look any different, but inside it's going to have just a little tack weld just to hold it in place, and we'll tack weld the nuts on, and then on this side when we put the bolts in, we'll put locking washers on so it won't come off, I hope.